All right, guys, so we're going to work on this lesson 5 here. And I do apologize for any background noise. It is a little noisy where I am right now, but I'm going to try to speak as clear as I can. All right, so example 1, we have this equation or this question here. We're going to kind of mix that day that we were writing those equations out. We were taking the clues from what it said and building an equation and then actually solving it. So we're going to combine like 2 different lessons here. So let's read this. It says one angle, I'm just going to put x, is 5 degrees less than 3 times the degree of a measure of another angle. Together, the angle measures sum, which means we're going to add those up, is 143. So what is the measure of each angle? All right, so let's set this up. We have some angle is, and I'm going to put the other x next to it, 3 times that same angle, but subtracted 5 comes to a total of 143. All right, so now we're going to combine our like terms. So remember, there's a 1 in front of this x. We just don't always write it. So 1x plus 3x gives me 4x, and bring everything else down. All right, now remember, our goal here is to get the x by itself. So I need to get rid of this 5. So I take the opposite of subtracting 5, which is to add 5. And what you do to one side, you do to the other. The 5's cancel, and I get 4x equals 148. Okay, now I'm going to divide these. I have by 4, and x equals 37. All right, let's try another one. All right, example 2. Clear that. Given a right angle, okay, if you remember, right angles are 90 degrees. Find the degree measure of the angles that is 10 degrees more than 4 times that degree to give you the measure of the third angle in that same right triangle. Okay, or right angle, triangle. Okay, so we got a couple things here to put together. First of all, we have a missing angle measure, so we're going to call that x. We do know that one of the angle measures is 4 times that, so just to keep all my x's together. And one angle is 10 more than that, so we're going to add 10. But we know the whole thing is a 90, so it's going to add up to 90 degrees. And when you take a triangle, all the angle measures add up to 180. Any triangle adds up to 180. It could be scalene, obtuse, it doesn't matter. So we're going to add all this up. Now, we're going to combine our like terms. I have 1x plus 4x is going to give me 5x. And then I have 10 plus 90 is going to give me 100. And that's just combining all my terms. Bring down your 180. All right, and again, we want to get that x by itself. So I'm going to do the opposite of adding 100. I'm going to subtract 100. And what you do to one side, you're going to do to the other. The 100s cancel, and I get 5x equals 80. And then we divide by 5. And x will equal 16. And there's your answer. All right, let's go on to the exercises. Those were our 2 examples. So now let's do our exercises. I'm going to scroll down here. Okay. So the first one we have here, it says a pair of congruent angles. Congruent means that they're the same. Okay, so same. All right, are described as the following. The measure of one angle is 3 more than twice a number, and the other angle measure is 54.5 less than 3 times a number. All right, so we're going to put all this together here. So we got a couple things going on. So the first thing is we're going to talk about this first measure. Is going to be 3 more than 2 times, because that's what they wrote right here. Is equals sign. Remember, whenever we have the is, it's equal sign. All right, and then the other side is going to be 3 times minus 54.5. Just putting all our clues together. Okay, now I don't have any terms here to combine. I don't have any terms here to combine. So I start moving things around. I always want to keep my x positive. So I'm going to subtract the 2x because if I subtract the 3x, I'll have a negative x. So subtract 2x from this side, subtract 2x from this side. All right, my x's cancel. My 3 falls down. 3x minus 2x equals x. And bring down your negative 54.5. Now I want this x by itself, so I need to move that 54.5. So I'm going to do the opposite. Instead of subtracting 54.5, I'm going to add 54.5. And what you do to one side, we do to the other. All right. So these will cancel. Now my x is by itself, and my final answer is 57.5. All right, let's look at example 2, or exercise 2, I should say. All right, the measure of one angle is described as 12 more than 4 times a number. Its supplement means it adds to 180, is twice as large. Find the measure of each angle in degrees. All right, well, we know it's going to equal 180. All right, and we're going to add up all these angle measures. So we have one angle is x, right? That angle is 12 more than 4 times the number. Okay, so this same x is actually this x over here. So we don't need to write that one because it's referring to that one. So far I have 4x plus 12. All right. Now its supplement is twice as large. So twice as large is going to be 8x because 4x plus 2, or times 2, excuse me, is going to give me 8x. So plus 8x. All right. And then we had 12 more than 4 times the number. The supplement is twice as large. Okay, so both of these times 2 then. So 4x plus 2, and then 12 times 2. I apologize. 4x times 2 is 8x. 12 times 2 is going to give me 24. Okay, sorry, I was a little distracted for 5 seconds there. All right, here we go. So we're going to combine our like terms. I have 2 x's here. I have a 4x plus an 8x, which is going to give me a 12x. And then 12 plus 24 is going to give me a 36, equals 180. All right, so now we're going to subtract that 36 so we can get that x by itself. And I'm subtracting because we take the opposite. So the 36 will cancel, and we bring down 12x. 180 minus 36 gives me 144. And so therefore x equals 12. All right, let's look at exercise 3. All right, so a triangle has angles described as follows. The measure of the first angle is 4 more than 7 times a number. The measure of the second angle is 4 less than the first. Okay, so this up here. And the measure of the third angle is twice as large as the first. So 2 times, not 2x, 2 times. What is the measure of all the angles in degrees? So as you remember, a triangle always adds up to 180. So let's go ahead and start here. We had a 7x plus a 4, okay? And then the next part said that this was going to be 4 less than the first. So we're going to have another 7x, okay? So 4 less just means I'm going to take that plus 4 off. Instead of writing plus 4 minus 4, just take it off, okay? And then we have the third measure is twice as large. So 7 times 2 is going to give me 14x. And then 4 times 2 is going to give me 8. And all of this is going to add up to 180 degrees. All right, so now we're going to combine our terms. I have 7x plus 14x is going to give me 28x. All right, and then I have 4 plus 8 is going to give me 12, equals 180. All right, I need to get that x by itself, so I need to move that 12. So I'm going to subtract 12. That way my 12s cancel. and I get 28. Try that again. That'll be 28x. All right, so 28x equals 168, and x equals 6. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one. All right, this is the last one I'm going to do with you guys. You guys will do number 4. So after I do this one, you can pause the video and, excuse me, you're going to do number 5. I'm going to do 4. Do number 5, and then you can start the video up for the lesson 6 notes. All right, here we go. So we have one angle measure is 9 more than 6 times the number. The sequence of the rigid motion maps the angle onto another angle that is described as being 30 less than 9 times the number. What is the measure of the angle in degrees? Okay, so let's start off with what we have first. We have 6x plus 9, and that's all going to equal 9x minus 30. All right, let's combine our like terms. I'm going to subtract 6x. I always do my x first because I want to make sure that my x stays positive. My 6 x's will cancel, and I get 9 equals, and then 9 take away 6 is going to give me 3x minus 30. All right, so now I'm going to add 30 to this side because I want to get that 3x by itself. My 30's cancel, and I get 39 equals 3x, and then 3 divides into 39, so x equals 13. All right, so now you're going to pause the video, and you're going to do number 5. Okay, so here we go with lesson 6. All right, so we're going to kind of continue the same thing, except for this time we don't need to write the equation. It's already going to be given to us, so we're just going to solve these ones straight out. We're going to combine our like terms, and we're going to use distributive property. So a little bit of a combination of what you guys did yesterday as well. All right, so as we know, parentheses means we need to take care of those guys first. So this 17 is going to come down because there's nothing I can do with it right now. And I have, this is now a negative 5. You need to treat it like a negative 5, not subtract 5, because that negative needs to also go to these numbers in here. So negative 5 times 2 gives me a negative 10x. Negative 5 times negative 9 gives me a positive 45. And that's because a negative and a negative equal a positive. All right, same thing over here. This negative is what's being distributed. So it's like a negative 1. So on this one, we're just changing the sign. So whatever's on the inside of these parentheses, the sign now is the opposite. Because a negative and a negative makes that a positive 6x. A negative and a positive makes that a negative 10. And then we just bring down the plus 4. All right, so now that we did all our distributing, we can combine terms. So I have 17 plus 45, and that's going to give me 62. And then I have, over here, I have negative 10 and 4, so I'm going to bring down my negative 10x plus 62, and over here I'm going to bring down my 6x, and negative 10 plus 4 is going to give me negative 6. All right, so now I'm going to combine my x's, all right? And because I want my x to be positive, it's actually best for me to move this negative over here because then it'll become positive. So I'm going to add 10x to both sides. My 10x's cancel, and I get 62 equals 16x minus 6. All right, now again, we want that x by itself, so I'm going to get rid of this 6 by adding 6. What you do to one side, you do to the other. My 6's now cancel. 62 plus 6 gives me 68 equals 16x. Divide by 16. And since 16 doesn't go into 68 perfectly, we're just going to reduce that fraction. So we're going to write it over here. 16 over 68 over 16 reduces down to 17 over 4, dividing both by 4. All right, let's try the next one. All right, so again, we're going to distribute that negative because there is a negative right here that we need to take care of. All right, so which means everything in here just gets its opposite sign. So now I have negative x, and now I have a positive 7. Okay, plus 5/3. All right, now this is 2 times x, 2x, and then 2 times 9, so plus 18. All right, now the next thing I want to do is move my x's around, get the x's together. All right, I want to add x here because I want to keep that x positive. So that's going to cancel. I'm just going to bring this down so I can combine them in a minute. And over here I get 3x plus 18. All right, so now I'm going to combine this section over here. If I make this a 3 underneath it, then I need to, because technically it was a 1, means I need to multiply this by 3. So this is now 21 over 3 plus 5 over 3, which is going to give me 28/3. And then bring down everything else, plus 3x plus 18. Now, if I want to get rid of this denominator, I want to get rid of the fraction, I just multiply everything by the denominator. So I'm going to multiply this by 3, I'm going to multiply that by 3, and I'm going to multiply this by 3. Everybody needs to be multiplied together. Okay? So the 3's here cancel. I'm going to put my work over here. I then get 28 equals 3 times 3 gives me 9x. Plus, and 18 times 3 gives me 54. All right, now the only way I can keep the x positive here is to move this 54. So I'm going to subtract 54. Even though you're going to get a negative number, that's okay. We have negative numbers in math. That happens. So 28 minus 54, or excuse me, 26. Oh my goodness, I just saw my mistake. There we go. 26. All right. 26 minus 54 is going to give me a negative 28. All right. Equals 9x. That's where I was getting my 28 from. I was doing my math in my head there. All right. Divide by 9. And x is going to equal negative 28 over 9. Since I can't reduce that, nothing goes into it. You're just going to go ahead and leave it improper of negative 28 over 9. All right, let's try number 3. All right, I'm going to erase that, bring it down. Okay, here we go. This will be the last one I do with you guys, and then the next 2 are going to be on you guys. So here we go. We have 4/9 plus 4. We're going to distribute both of that. We're going to distribute that negative to both of those. All right, so bring down your 4/9. There's nothing I can do with that yet. 4 times x gives me 4x. 4 times negative 1 gives me negative 4. Equals 28 over 9. Remember, everything in here is going to become its opposite sign. So I now have a negative x, but I have a positive 7x. And then bring down your plus 1 from the end there. Let's combine our terms. Okay. Actually, before I combine my terms, I'm going to get rid of fractions. I'm just going to get rid. Do you notice that I have 9s on both of these? So I'm just going to multiply everybody by 9. And I know it seems like a lot of work, but it gets rid of that fraction, and you don't have to deal with it later, you know, by trying to get rid of it later. So everybody gets multiplied by 9. So these cancel, and I wind up with just a 4 plus 36x minus 36 equals, these cancel, 28 minus 9x plus 63x plus 9. Just multiplying all that out. Now I can combine my terms a little easier because I don't have to deal with a fraction anymore. All right, so I have a 4 and I have a negative 36. So I'm going to bring down the positive 36x here. If I subtract those two, I get negative 32. Okay, and over here, I'm going to go ahead and combine my two x's. So negative 9 plus 63x is going to give me 54x. And then I'm going to combine these two, the 28 plus the 9, and that's going to give me 37. All right, so now I want to keep my x positive like I've mentioned before. So I'm going to subtract 36x from both sides. The 36x's cancel, and I wind up with negative 32. And then we have 54 minus 36 is going to give me 18x and bring down my plus 37. To get that x by itself, I need to get rid of this 37. So I'm going to subtract it because I'm going to take the opposite and move it over here. These then cancel and I get 18x equals negative 69. I'm going to divide by 18 now. My 18s cancel and my final answer is x equals negative 23 over 6, reducing that down. All right, so you guys are going to do 4 and 5 on your own, but here's the best part. You can put skip on number 6. You don't need to do number 6. All right, guys, have a great day. I'll see you on Monday.